The Joe Rogan Experience.
How's Brooklyn?
It's grim.
Is
it's
it?
grim right
Yeah?
now. I've lived in New York for the majority of my life. I love New York City, and this is by far the grimmest I have ever seen it.
Really?
I mean, this winter, because it's everything that the entire country is facing, but it's the worst for COVID. It's also extremely cold. A lot of city services seem to have been impaired in one way or another. The streets are covered in garbage and ice and dog shit, and you can't. Pretty much the only thing that I can do to maintain my sanity is run, but everything, including the outdoor running track, is covered in ice and shit, and so it's just this dystopian, frozen, pandemic landscape where every local business that I loved is closing down. It's a dark time.
Yeah, I hear that about Los Angeles. I saw a lot of it, but I got out early. I saw the writing on the wall, and I was looking to move in May. I just once the lockdown got extended, once they're like, we're just going to lock down for 2 weeks to flatten the curve, I was like, that makes sense. And then here we are in April, all the way through April. Here we are in May, and then I'm like, oh, they're never going to let us out of this. I was like, and then the crime started happening, and it started getting dark. And I was like, oh, we got to get the fuck out of here. The homeless thing was like flowers blooming out of rocks, like out of cracks in the concrete. It's like more tents. Like Los Angeles is filled with tents. Like you can't believe it. Like when I tell people about it and then they go there, they're like, oh, I thought you were exaggerating. Like, no, I was understating. Like Los Angeles is overwhelmed with tents. It's fucking crazy. Like, you can't believe that on La Brea, they just allow people to set up tents everywhere. It's nuts.
Well, yeah, what are people going to do?
That's the question. What are people going to do? Yeah, where are you going to put them? Do you have hospitals available for them? And a lot of those, the problem is a lot of those shelters, they won't let them do drugs.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people are like, I would rather be in a fucking tent outside by the beach than be under your thumb. Because Los Angeles doesn't get cold, you know? I mean, a cold day is 50, you know? It's a big deal.
Right.
Just sleeping bag, you're outside. It's nice.
Yeah, it's really emphasized a lot of these economic divides, because everyone in New York just orders everything on Amazon.
Yeah.
So every apartment building in every nice part of New York receives a daily shipment of every tenant's stuff from Amazon, and then there's like a secondary economy of people just going into all of the buildings and stealing all of the packages.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Ring videos, the doorbell camera videos of people stealing shit.
Oh yeah, it's almost comical. I mean, I had one where I was loading my car with bags at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday, and in the lobby of my building for maybe 15 minutes, somebody just, as soon as I walk around the corner, someone goes and scoops everything up. Yeah, it's a wild time, and I hope we're coming out of it. I mean, right when I came to Austin, this is the first time I've been on an airplane since the beginning of the pandemic. You're the first person I've spoken to without a mask.
No, really?
The first face I've
Did you
seen
feel
in
weird
months.
coming in here? But you knew everyone was tested. And
I felt fine.
Did?
I've just been very careful, and because it's also cold in New York, it just promotes this prison cell like lifestyle where I'm just sitting in my apartment reading and doing push-ups all day.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The dog shit thing is like, so people just don't clean up anymore. They just gave up.
You know how it is. It's there's this kind of tumbling character where things just start to accumulate, and then no one shovels the streets, and then it gets easier. Probably it's harder to pick it up because there's just like mounting layers of garbage everywhere, and it just starts to look increasingly disgusting. I mean, maybe we'll just get out of this in a couple weeks, and everything will be.
Oh yeah. Well, the problem that I don't think the people that shut everything down for a fucking year ever take into consideration is that people don't have the resources to bounce back. Things don't bounce back on their own. Right? If you want to start a business, it takes money. Like it takes quite a bit of money to get a lease, to stock the shelves, to hire employees. And when you've been out of business for a year, you don't have any money. So you've probably used up all savings if you had any savings. Try getting a loan when you don't have anything. There's really there's no real logical path forward for a lot of these businesses. In Los Angeles, 75% of the restaurants are gone.
Oh, yeah. I'm so worried about the restaurants in New York. Yeah, it's terrible. It doesn't seem like it's even talked about sufficiently.
No.
Because in New York in the wintertime, I mean, they're really trying. They're doing things that I would have never, like, truly extraordinary things, like making these little heated space gazebos that are covered in Mylar on the inside. And ultimately most people don't even really want to do that. So then there's this weird conflict of, is it moral to support these businesses because you want them to stay in business, or are you feeding into a system where people are subjecting themselves to unsafe working conditions, and is it actually immoral to go to restaurants? And of course people endlessly argue about that.
Well, personal choices are not immoral, right? So if the people decide that they're willing to work there and they're masked up and they feel safe working there, isn't that better than not having a choice to work there?
I guess the idea is that instead of people going on unemployment, they feel pressured to put themselves at risk when they really should be at home, not potentially spreading coronavirus and ideally receiving some sort of government assistance.
Well, it's also like, when does the government assistance run out? Because it has run out for a lot of people. There is no more unemployment for a lot of folks. And then on top of that, the way everything's been mismanaged is so terrible in so many ways. Like, why is it okay to be at Target on top of people? Why is it okay to be at Walgreens on top of people? But it's not okay to have these mom and pop stores open or retail stores.
Oh, yeah. Or, like I said, I haven't been on an airplane until I came to see you. But of course, I see all these stories in the news that are like, this guy went on an airplane and he took off his mask and they had to do an emergency landing and they kicked him off the plane and everyone cheered. And if you haven't been on a plane, you just kind of read that and you think, oh, yeah, wow, that guy sounds like quite an asshole. Good that they kicked him off the plane. But then on the plane, I hadn't even considered this. Like, what is done with snacks? What are the snack provisions? Are there no more peanuts? Is there no water? And if it is served, then everyone has to take off their masks. So this is all just sort of like security theater, because they still serve food and everyone unmasks simultaneously to eat. So there's a period of at least 15 minutes where everyone on the plane is unmasked by the doing of the actual airline.
Yeah. It's nonsense. It's full nonsense across the board.
Well, I think people just don't know what to do. It's they're aware that all these things are contradictory. Everyone is trying to do their best. They're confused. They don't understand it even to this day.
People are trying not to be an asshole. When you wear a mask, what you're basically saying is, I'm not an asshole. I'm going to go around and I want you to feel like I care, and I want you to feel all right. So I'm going to wear a mask. But it's not. I mean, maybe it's protecting somewhat. It's certainly not 100% safe. Like, it's protecting you against droplets. If someone sneezes, but you're breathing.
Oh, yeah. The masking is definitely good. I think that's pretty well established. But I guess what I don't understand is the hypocrisy. Like, if we have established that masking is good, then we also have to not have snacks on the flight.
Or water.
Or water. But so then what do you do?
You're on top of each other. You're sitting 3 people next to each other. I mean, it's like literally the opposite of social distancing. It's incredibly intimate. You don't even know these people. You're touching elbows with them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and this was why when it started, I was one of these people that, I was thinking, well, I work in media. I know the way the media blows everything out of proportion. I remember swine flu. I know that they sell newspapers by making everyone terrified. This can't possibly be as bad as people think it is. And I was sort of in COVID denial. And I was also in the middle of filming the 3rd season of my TV show. So I was just sort of seduced by the momentum of production and didn't want it to end. And people were saying, I don't think we can film anymore. I think we have to stop. And I thought, what is the world going to shut down?
Yeah, I remember that.
This is unprecedented.
Yeah.
The world isn't going to shut down. We're not going to be kept in our apartments. It's just not conceivable that such a thing could happen.
Cut to 1 year later. Catch new episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience for free only on Spotify. Watch back catalog JRE videos on Spotify, including clips easily, seamlessly switch between video and audio experience. On Spotify, you can listen to the JRE in the background while using other apps and can download episodes to save on data cost, all for free. Spotify is absolutely free. You don't have to have a premium account to watch new JRE episodes. You just need to search for the JRE on your Spotify app. Go to Spotify now to get this full episode of the Joe Rogan Experience.